Hi, everybody. You are back for part, I think this is 3 for customer service. And I realized as I was getting ready to start back, never mind, scratch that. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's okay. All right. So the last thing that you did, Simon, hopefully you have just completed, was looking at your moments of truth. Okay. And that's where you had to truly assess yourself and look at times when you have had a great impact on something, okay, on someone's customer service. Again, I hope you're looking at this from a professional standpoint, but again, we all may be in different professions at this point in time. I would look at myself from providing customer service. For me, my greatest customer at this time in my life, if you will, are you, my student. Okay. There's been other times when that has not been the case. Some of you know my story. I used to work for attorneys. Then attorneys used to be my most important customer. Okay, when I was a stay-at-home mom, my children and my husband were my most important customers. So, you know, if you're working, even if you're working in like fast food, look at who your customers are and provide it for that. So you really, again, this is self-assessment, but even if you're not in the role of working in a healthcare facility or customer, apply it to where you are now, but always be thinking forward when you are in that customer service situation in healthcare. What are you going to do? Okay, think about that as well. Don't just limit it to where you are now, because we want to learn something here that we can take with us. That's why you come to school, right? That we will take with us into our careers, not just our jobs. All right. So next thing. So rapid change, heavy workloads that make that much harder. I am at the bottom of page 7 in the little blue book. Okay, our self-numbered pages. So just speaking about where we are right here, our geographical area, Washington, Greenville, we have just made the switch, or not too long ago, made the switch from Vidant. I remember when we went to Vidant, and everything changed to Vidant. The hospitals, Vidant internal medicine, Vidant family care, Vidant orthopedics, Vidant everything. Well, we recently, not too long ago, made the transition from Vidant to now it's ECU Health. And everything that was Vidant is now ECU Health. Well, it's just not been in name only. There's been other things that have occurred behind the scenes that we have not seen, and things are different. Their ways of doing things are different. Interesting story. Just this past weekend, I met someone who works in the ECU Health system, but she was also working for the Vidant system, and she was the director of programs within the hospital system. And she said, I've just about have to pull my hair out, because with all of the transitions and all the changes and her being director over all of these different programs, she is truly overwhelmed and feels like she's overworked. She's at the end of her rope, and just change and those transitions have been really hard. Okay. I know people that have worked in these systems as before they were Vidant to becoming ECU Health, and they talk about the transition, you know, and I think all of those things, I think these kinds of changes are going to be here to stay. They just are. Well, as you would imagine, we like to think that healthcare professionals, because number one, they want to help people, and they feel like they should be pretty secure in their job. And because everybody is going to need healthcare, you know, I was told that, I guess years ago when they were like trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do. Well, you know, they said there are some things that'll always be around. Service occupations, what people need, okay? Teachers, nurses, healthcare. It's almost like anybody else, you know, food supply, I mean, different things like that, they're going to change and they're going to alter. Think about COVID having just passed not too long ago. Who didn't shut down, okay? Those are the things that we're talking about. So, like this lady that I just met, she was burdened with anxiety. She was at the end of her rope. She was like, I want to pull my hair out. This is so much, way more than I bargained for. Well, all healthcare is pretty much within the same boat, and it's almost like we're being pushed harder. We talked about earlier, you got to see at least 4 patients per hour, and we've got to be the ones, maybe to, we're checking them in, checking them out, checking them in, checking them out. The billing and coding file stack is getting taller and taller, and it's just like we're being forced into this rat race. Okay, that is all true. It is all happening. And it doesn't matter whether you are in healthcare or right now as a teacher. Okay, this is the day before I'm recording. This is the day before classes started. I'm like, wait till the last minute, right? And I've got students to register, and I'm teaching 8 classes. I've got to get those up and running, ready to go. All the things, Answer the email, answer the phone, do all the things. It's stressful. I love teaching, absolutely love teaching. But days like this, they're hard. And if somebody comes in, I might be saying, not now, not now, but I can't do that, okay? Same thing in the healthcare field. You've got to be able to do that. You've got to be able to provide high quality service in the face of stress, pressure, anxiety, let's do more, get it done atmosphere. It just is, okay? And it doesn't matter what job you have. There are going to be times when things are more stressful and when things are not quite as stressful. Catch me in the middle of the semester, things hopefully they calm down a little bit. Things are a little really rough at the beginning, really rough at the end, but it's okay. It's all part of the job. You are going to have the same thing no matter where you are. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, there's going to be days when the kids are napping, you're going to be like, ah. But at the end of the day, when laundry and dinner and husband comes home and kids are screaming, whatever, is harder than others. So you have to learn to deal with those even in the face of that extreme pressure. Okay, so giving customers no less than 100%. You might already think that you're really good with customers, and you know what? You're here, you want to be better, you are improving, you're getting your education so that you can. But what I want to bring to your attention that the book really brings out and does a good job, it says, but it doesn't take very much to create dissatisfaction. And I will also say, we live in an entitled culture right now. Everybody is about me. How are you going to serve me? What are you going to do for me? I can be that way, all right? If I go out to eat, it's all about me. I'm serious, okay? I go to a swanky little boutique to find the cutest little dress I can find. It's all about me, okay? I want good customer service. I want somebody to take my beautiful little dress to the dressing room for me to try on for me, okay? Not all the time. That's only when you're at those swanky little boutiques, okay? You know what I'm saying. It is about us. But again, you're talking about high pressure, lots of people, but even in the face of that extreme pressure, just one instance of rudeness and impatience can become a very significant part of that patient's experience and the overall impression of you and your organization that you work for. Patients who don't know you very well, you might be having the worst day of your life. Okay? The worst. You shouldn't be at work. But if you are, those customers should never know it is the worst day of your life. They shouldn't know, even if it is. That's when it's not about you. You're providing a service to those people. If you are at work, you're on the clock, you should be providing the best customer service that you can. And only one instance, even on your very bad day, that might be the only time they see you. They don't know you very well. They don't know that that's not really like you. okay? So you can't change that, okay? You've always got to give them no less, be on and give them no less than 100%. Interesting little thing here that your book shows out. It says customers don't handle our excuses very well either. Did you notice that? I'm so sorry. I'm having a bad day. You know, and normally we don't tell people that anyway because we think, well, that's none of their business. But they're looking at you like, what is wrong with you? So anyway, what would happen? Check this out. What would happen if some of the other service industries delivered 99% of the time and just a mere 1% below perfect? Homes would be without electricity, heat, water, telephone service for about 15 minutes every single day. Would you like to be without electricity, water, heat, telephone service for 15 minutes every single day? I can answer that. No. Every page in the telephone directory, which we really don't even have anymore, would contain about every page would contain 4 wrong numbers. Traffic lights would be ineffective almost 2 hours per week. Let's stop and think about that as some of the busiest intersections that we go through, no matter where we live and where we travel to, okay? I'm sitting here thinking, well, there's some in Washington, but like when you go to Greenville Boulevard, oh my goodness, could you even imagine if they didn't work 2 hours a week? The accidents, the injuries, the problems. Pharmacies, this one blew me. I highlighted this one, by the way. Pharmacies would incorrectly fill thousands of prescriptions every day. Wrongly fill thousands of prescriptions. That's life and death. We're not talking life and death for people if you're not kind to them, okay? We did talk about in the last session about what good can do, how therapeutic it can be when good hands are laid on them, okay? And I don't mean physically, and you know what I mean. You saw the video, and if you didn't, shame on you, number one. Number two, you should go back and watch it. It's pretty great. Not me, but the information. So imagine the confusion, the inconvenience, and even the danger that would result in the performance if these services were routinely less than 100%. We certainly can count on other industries to deliver top-notch service, and our customers deserve no less from us. No less from us. So that leads me to, there's 2 questions, your next assignment. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, then I've got just a little bitty section I'm going to talk about, and then there'll be the sex. My phone is ringing, but I'm not going to get it because I'm talking to you. All right, so there are 2 questions that talk about change and its effectiveness in your customer orientation. We all experience change. Every one of us experience change. In some way, shape, or form. I don't mind telling you it's 110 degrees outside when I'm recording this video the day before school starts in August. And my air conditioning in my house, part of my house, is not working. And it hasn't been for almost 7 days now. Okay, that gives me, quote unquote, a reason. Something has changed that's made me unhappy, and it might make me grouchy. Okay? Things happen. Car accidents, fender benders, your phone doesn't work, doesn't matter. Change happens, but when change happens, especially negative change, we have to deal with that. So there are 2 questions that are located at the top of page 9. I would like for you to type the questions and then answer each one of those with your response. Please make sure you do those in a nice, neat, clean, and error-free. Please, error-free means using correct subject-verb agreement, correct capitalization, correct punctuation, because we are starting with our professionalism on day 1. Okay, your professionalism in your writing and in turning in assignments and everything else. Not really a different issue, not really, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So where do we start? So this is our first section of this class, and we're just focusing on general customer service. and looking at ourselves, because that's really where it starts. Okay, you can look at somebody else and say that's good and that's bad, but what I want to do, I want to have good customer service 100% of the time, and you should want the exact same thing. Yes, your organization that you are either working for or will be working for, number one, they want it. Number two, they've hired you because I believe that they believe you're going to give that to them. And your patience, the least you can do is be therapeutic for them and not part of the problem. Okay? Because if I am worried, I am upset, I am distressed, I am anxious, the last thing I need to deal with is somebody not being kind, compassionate, caring, and therapeutic for me. Or you don't want to make them feel worse, you want to make them feel better. Okay? So it's about you. It's about me. Okay? So where do we start? All right? So on page 9, right there in the middle, where do we start? Self-awareness. Okay? You got to look at yourself. Are key skills needed for public contact and caring service. So I want you to look at those 4 dots down. Your role in public contact situations and how far your responsibility and authority extend. Your own feelings, attitudes, and beliefs, and how these will affect your relationships with your customers. You've got to look at your nonverbal behavior. We haven't really addressed that, but we know what that looks like when it's not good. Okay? Personal mannerisms, your tone of your voice, your style of dress. Oh, if I could park there for a few minutes. I'm not going to. I want you to look at that. Does that say customer service? I care about myself and I care about you. It just is. I'm not trying to be mean. It's true. How these affect people's responses to you. And when they respond to you, then what does that lead you to respond back to them? Okay? It's a vicious circle. And then your tendencies to act ineffectively or effectively in response to different kinds of people with different backgrounds, personalities, and problems. To be effective with the people you serve, you need to accept the fact that no matter how you feel on any given day, you have a public responsibility. It's your job. It's your job. Okay? And you may say, well, what about my feelings? What if this has happened? What if that has happened? Then maybe you need to take the day off. If you have time to take off. Okay? If it's that bad. But under normal day-to-day circumstances, stressors, your behavior has an effect on the satisfaction of your customers, and in healthcare, that can have an impact on their health, whether it's their physical health, their emotional health, their well-being. You have the power to make a difference in these people's lives. Even if you're just a receptionist, if you're just a biller or a coder, there are people going to be calling you with financial situations, okay? And you got to give them their time, all right? So what do patients and families want? So you got the 2 questions that you're going to answer. Do you know thyself? This is so funny. I thought it was funny. So there are 4 questions here. All right. Since working in an office is going to require you to do charts, and you probably have already had chart making classes, what I'd like for you to do is to basically create this chart in Word. Okay. The only difference, I want you to type out each one of these things, numbers 1 through 4, but then out to the side, I just want you to you don't have to put 1, 2, 3, and 4, just put the one that describes you. Okay. All right. Self-aware. Then at the bottom, you are to look at that chart that you just filled out, and then you are to write some goals. What goals are you going to set for yourself to make yourself a person who provides excellent customer service, things to work towards and to work for? All right, those are your those are your assignments. And that actually brings us to the end pretty much of the customer service. So we're on page 10, and next week we're going to start working and talking about the 16 house rules. All right. I can't tell you how important this is. I really can't. And it goes across the gamut of your job, but also in dealing with individuals that you meet out on the street from day to day. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you're gaining a lot of information from this. If you are enjoying it so far, shoot me an email just to let me know. All right? Again, it's not about me, it's about customer service. And remember, your customer service to your customers and whoever that entails. All right, have a great day, and we will see you next time. Bye.